would like to call this special town meeting to order with a pledge of allegiance. If you could all stand, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My name is Denise Mushrow-Rumchek, and I am the Township Clerk. And as the Township Clerk, can't hear me?
I don't know how to work these adjustments, so I'm going to stay here.
Sorry, technical difficulties here.
Do you like recite the alphabet or something so we get an idea of where we're going?
Yeah, it's not on. It was on before, so whatever. Hello? Hello? So, are you playing with the box on the left, not on the right? Because there's two boxes there. It's the one on the left.
We got it, Denise, but
It's not working?
I don't know where that music's coming from.
Okay. Well,
Here we go.
okay.
You want to
The
come up
music
front?
is coming from downstairs. So, okay. Okay, everyone, welcome to the special town meeting. And thank you for all coming to participate in this meeting tonight. The purpose of this meeting is to inform the electors on a proposed new building for Lockport Township. Only registered voters in Lockport Township are able to vote tonight. I know you all signed in and you were verified, and if you were verified, you received a ballot. And this is for the township to lease, buy, and build a new building with all related costs. The clerk's office received a letter, and I'd like to read it to you because first I'm going to explain the process of why the special meeting was called. Dear Madam Clerk, the Lockport Township Board of Trustees and I would like to request your office to hold a special town meeting. The purpose of the meeting would be to ask the electors for approval to purchase and/or lease land, build offices, and a community center with all related costs. We ask that the meeting be held in the Central Square Boardroom, 318, located at 222 East 9th Street, Lockport, Illinois. We ask that the meeting be held on December 4th, 2014 at 6:30 p.m. Thank you, Ronald Alberico, Lockport Township Supervisor. And with that, it is the clerk's responsibility, after receiving this letter, to legally publish and post the special meeting. Everything was done according to law. The public notice appeared in the Joliet Herald News on November 20th and in the Lockport Legend on November 26th. The public notice was also sent to the city of Crest Hill, the village of Romeoville, and Lockport and Crest Hill libraries. It was posted at the Central Square Building and the Lockport Township Park District and on the Township Clerk's website. I'd like to proceed now and have a nomination for a moderator. I need a nomination to appoint a moderator.
I would like to nominate John Badisich.
Okay, Ronald Alberico would like to nominate John Badisich. I need a motion.
I'll second it.
Mary Ann Williamson seconds that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. John Badisich, would you please come forward?
I have a nomination.
Okay. Mava, who would you like to nominate?
I would like to nominate this gentleman here, if he will accept.
Okay. And the gentleman's name is?
Paul Siegel.
Paul Siegel. Do I have a second on that?
I'll
Yes,
second
second.
that.
How many seconds? Who second? Please state your name.
Carl Beveridge.
Carl Pippert.
Beveridge.
Could you spell that, please?
B-E-V-R-I-C-H.
Okay. Okay. So now we have a motion and a second for Paul Siegel to be a moderator. All in favor? Aye. Okay, we're going to have to do a vote of hands. Okay? Between the two of them. So, can I have a vote of hands for John Bodisich, please? 1, 2. I'm 30. Okay, that's 30 votes, and may I have a count for Paul Siegel?
I have 25.
25? Okay, the motion goes to John Bodisich for moderator of this special town meeting. Would you come forward, please, John? You raise your right hand. Oath of the moderator of the town meeting, State of Illinois.
Town moderator, State of Illinois,
Town of Lockport,
Town of Lockport,
Will County.
Will County.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
the duties of
the
moderator
duties of moderator
at this town meeting,
at this town meeting,
so help me
so
God.
help me God.
Okay, could you please sign here? Okay, the meeting will be turned over to John Bodisich.
Okay, good evening, everybody. A few things, if you need to use the restroom, if you go out through this door here, that'll be the only way you'll be able to come back in.
I did not do this, so if you could do it for me.
Okay.
At any time.
I do need a motion to appoint assistant to the clerk. If I can have a motion for assistant to the clerk.
And that would be Debbie Mason and Marianne Williamson.
Do we get to do motions for that?
Well, because
This to you?
I only have one deputy, I need two other people to help me count the ballots.
So do we vote on that?
I'd like a motion from the floor.
Well, can we have them stand up so we can see?
Sure,
who they are?
absolutely. Could you stand up, please? Debbie Mason is in the back. And Marianne Williamson is here.
Well, I would like to nominate Paul Siegel again.
All the assessors.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. There's a motion for Paul Siegel to be assistant to the clerk. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, state your name, please.
Joe Silage,
Could you
Okay.
spell?
Can you spell it, please?
Silich.
Okay, all in favor? Let's see how we do this. All in favor of Paul Siegel for assistant to the clerk, please raise your hand.
I have 28.
How many, Gary?
28?
28. All in favor of Mary Ann Williamson and Debbie Mason? Show of hands, please.
Wait, one at a time.
Okay,
No, actually,
you need two.
I asked for two.
Can you reach it?
Pardon me?
Can you reach it? Name separate.
Each name separate, okay. We'll start with Mary Ann Williamson, please. Show of hands. For Mary Ann. And now for Debbie Mason, show of hands, please.
You only vote once, or do you vote twice?
One for each
Vote
person.
for each person.
We're voting for each person. The first one was for Mary Ann.
We're not. Hey,
Show of hands,
wait
please.
up, please, because I have to go.
Okay. So Mary Ann Williamson and Debbie Mason will be the assistant to the clerk tonight.
Excuse me, I'm gonna protest this. I mean, you should count the number of people. You can't vote more than twice when you're voting for just two people. You vote,
We voted for 3 people.
yeah, we had 3 people, and how many total votes did you get?
You're gonna have,
I assume you would got more than double what's here. But each person should only be able to vote twice. Because you can only have 2 assistants. So you're gonna have to count the number of people in the room, and then you can take your counts and see where you end up. But you can't just have everybody raise their hand 3 times for.
how many votes do you know? Well, I think the views they have done. Each person can vote twice, unless you're going to fight a ballot, then you're going to know. You have to do it by ballot. Unless you're nominating them as a here, and he is nominated as a single. And here gets more than a single.
And they're voting for this, but they can't vote for the other.
Maybe as a motion. Okay, here's what we could do is Clerk Rumcheck has stated that we can only that she could use just one assistant. One assistant. So what we'll do is vote that way. Which one do you want to?
Debbie Mason.
Debbie Mason. Okay, so let's start this over.
One or the other.
Let's start this over. I need a motion for one assistant clerk for Denise Rumcheck to help with counting the ballots.
I'm going to nominate Debbie Mason.
I have a motion for Debbie Mason. Second. I have a second.
Is there any other nomination?
Are there any other nominations?
I have a nomination,
Okay.
but I also have a word to say.
I nominate Paul Siegel again. I nominate him again, but I also
I'll
feel,
second it.
I also feel that we should have a representative of different political things, even though this is non-political, that we should have. I've been poll watchers. We need to have someone on a different there to show that this is correct. Not that, it's been
I made the second.
Okay, there's a second. All in favor of Paul Siegel? Show of hands.
So he's now a nominee, so now you have a vote between the two.
He is now a nominee. You can lower your hands. Now we'll go to a vote. This will be hand counted. All in favor of Debbie Mason as assistant, please raise your hand high.
Really bad.
Do that, or we can stand up, and then whoever is standing can't vote again.
It's hard not to laugh.
$29.
29?
Yep.
Okay, all in favor of Paul Siegel, raise your hand high, please.
What are we voting for now? Paul?
Hands up, please. If you're doing hands up, that's because I thought there were people over here that didn't have that. Yep. 29.
Both of them? Okay, it's a tie. If anybody doesn't have a problem with this, we'll go with both of them. How's that sound? All right, moving on. I want to introduce Ron Alberico, Township Supervisor, and he's going to give a brief history on how we've got to this point tonight. If I can have Ron come up.
Paid. How much does he get paid? The moderator. You have to set it. You do.
No, I understand. That's okay. I'm Ron Alberico. I'm the Lockport Township Supervisor. I was appointed back in 2011 as to replace Judy Bodisich, who was the supervisor before me. It was when I started as supervisor, the trustees, and I was a trustee before that. I know that the strategic plan of the township was someday to build a community center, senior center for our seniors. We have been saving money for working under our budget for years and years. I couldn't even tell you, it was way before I even became a trustee, that we've been putting money aside for the possibility of putting a senior center, community center, office complex together. We put that money together, and we're at the point now would be a good time to move. Lockport has shown a very big interest in taking over this building for their offices. They want to bring all their offices into one spot. We would like to be able to put a community center, a senior center together so we can do more programming for our seniors. We're in one of the biggest senior areas in Will County. We have Laguna Vista, we have Grand Haven, we have Caroline Lakes, we have Willow Falls. We have a lot of senior facilities around here. And as the seniors get older and they lose a partner, they need places to go. They need help. And that's what this community center is going to be all about. It's all about trying to help our seniors. We have the money. I'm not going to raise taxes for this at all. I will not raise taxes for the bricks and mortar of this building. That is not what this is about. All I'm asking at this point in time is to give us permission to continue the idea of whether we can do this or not. If it comes in over budget, if we can't do it, I'm going to stop. But there's no sense of even having the architects on board, working with the Park District, working with all the people that I need to work with, if I don't have the backing of the people, of the voters. You're the ones I'm doing this for. I want you guys to be part of this. And if by law we have to ask you, it's your money. So we're asking here tonight to give us permission to continue our quest as to whether we can put a good building up for the seniors and the youth in all of our residents. We want to have the community center for all of our residents. We are in talks with the Park District. We are very close as to where we can put the building. We're talking about at Prairie Bluff, right next to the firehouse, which happens to be right smack dab in the middle of the township. It's a wonderful spot. We are in contact with the University of Lewis University. They've shown an interest in us into maybe putting a medical clinic in there. Lewis University is one of the best nursing programs in our state, and they, their program has nurse practitioners studying. And part of their studies, they have to do clinical time. They want to put a clinic within our building so they can do their clinical time there, and we can offer to our residents blood pressures, physicals. There's a number of things. I have a list in the office of what they're prepared to offer: blood pressures, diabetes tests, things like that. Nothing, we're not going to do any medical procedures there, obviously. But it's a win for them. It would be a win for the Park District. We have saved money. We put money aside for this thing, so we won't be raising your taxes. All I'm asking right now is to give us permission to try to see if this is going to work. Everybody tells me through the years that government needs to change. We have to change. Well, if we want change, you've got to allow us to change. By turning this down, we don't even have a chance to change. So I'm asking you guys to support the building so we can have some governmental changes and maybe head in a good direction for our residents. That's all. That's my presentation. I hope we have your support.
Is there any questions of Ron? And we'll hold this to, you guys questions, and if you comment, I forgot to elaborate on this, a 2-minute time limit on the audience. Let's take 4 questions. Lady in the back. If you could stand up and state your name, please.
Susan Schnitker. Thank you for your presentation. It was very informative. And it sounds really good to me. My concern is the ballot that we have. Basically, it's way too simple. Your statement of not raising taxes was wonderful to hear. That's not what this says. This says, and all related costs. Well, that's like Johnny wanting to buy a new bike and he costs up his $2 in coins out of piggy bank to mom and dad. We have no idea what it costs. So if this ballot said more about investigating these costs and presenting that and showing that it does not go beyond the funds we have, I would feel better. I love the idea. Thanks again.
I guess I would have to say to that, I can't raise taxes without, going through the proper procedures. In order to do that, I would have to go to a referendum if it went over cost. And I'm not going to go to a referendum to help build this building. I know how referendums go. Now, that's not what we're asking.
Only if you go over the limits, you can raise taxes. You raise your taxes every year without having to go to the voters. It's only if you go over too much. So it's a false statement to say that you can't raise taxes without asking us, because you can, you do it every year. So it's over a certain threshold that you have to come to us to do that. I understand. All right.
Sir.
My name is Carl Beveridge. I've lived here for 30-some odd years. I haven't seen any evidence of a plan. I haven't seen any evidence of commitments from Lewis University or any other organization. It seems to me you're getting the cart before the horse, and that you need to present a plan to the electorate on a feasibility study that shows what it's going to cost. Right now, this is a pig in a poke. We don't know what we're going to get. All right? Why not establish an advisory council made up of the electorate to look into the various options? Purchasing land is only one of those, all right? Building a whole new building is only one of the options available. Renting existing facilities, and there are plenty in the area, all right, are other options. We need to understand what the costs associated with the various options would be. it seems to me inappropriate to try to vote and just say, yeah, go ahead, do this, before we know what it is we're getting ourselves into.
Well, my board and I feel that before I start spending $20,000, $30,000 on feasibility studies and designs and what we need to do, I have to have the backing of, it doesn't matter if I don't have the backing of the voters. So I don't know which is better. Should I spend $30,000, $40,000 of the taxpayers' money and then find out you guys aren't interested in it anyway?
We don't know what you're proposing at this point, other than is this grand plan for a community center.
Right.
Is that replicating services that are available elsewhere within the county and the township and so on?
Well, I'm not aware of any other community centers in our township that are going to service the needs that the seniors have expressed to me. We have I know the Park District has a little community center in the Fairmont area, but I don't see people going down there. Yes, ma'am.
Every senior community that you're talking about here has a community center.
I understand that, but not every senior in our township lives in a wonderful gated community that can go to these centers.
Yes, and not every senior in the township gets taxed the way we do too.
I'm sorry?
We pay over $4,000 a year in taxes, which is more than we paid in DuPage County to this township
Not to this township, no.
in taxes.
Not to the township. Township taxes, of your property tax, you pay about 1.5%.
We own property in Arizona too, we pay a heck of a lot less than that.
Well, I understand that, but what I'm trying to explain to you is your tax bill, 90% of it probably goes to the schools in the park districts.
Okay,
1%.
two more questions. Paul?
Paul Siegel, heard my name before. The money that you say you set aside obviously came from us through our taxes. For what purpose were those funds collected and banked by the township to have them already?
Ordinance passed for the building or land purchase of a building.
Okay, so you passed an ordinance to build buildings?
Yes.
Okay, so it wasn't by referendum or anything like that?
No.
It was just a line item that you wanted to do, so you were, your levy, part of your levy was to pay for that. And so when you decided to do that, at that time, when you started taking tax money to do that, you had no plan as to what you wanted that to go to, or you just wanted to start collecting money and then figure out what you want to do with it?
We wanted to collect money because we knew we had to get out of this building. Our assessor's office is getting overcrowded. She has to move. Storage is a major, major concern of all our records. So we knew we had to do something. So we have to start collecting money to build something.
So then it sounds like really what you are taxing us for and saving for is not for a community center, but for office space for the township. And the community center is a side thought.
No, I would
to
disagree
make
with that. I believe most of it's going to be for the community center.
Okay, but you just said that the reason that you did it was because you're overcrowded, your office space is overcrowded. And that's not upheld for reason for most of us to raise our taxes or to collect our taxes.
We're not going to raise taxes for this.
You've already got our tax money. You have no money omnipotently. It all comes from us as taxpayers. So the money you have now, you've already taxed us to get. So you may not be raising our taxes, but the money you have now is tax money that you've already collected from us. And your ordinance, again, don't know just what your ordinance says, but was it to expand office facilities or township offices? Was it for a community center? Was it to build senior housing on the west side? What was that money really set aside for? My understanding is that when that was started, it was for a senior development on the west side like you have on the east side. And so without us knowing where the money started flowing from, what its purposes were, and what it's grown into, makes this vote, kind of nonsensical that we're not really voting on how to use the money that you already have of ours. We don't even know how much of our money you have to put towards this, to know that when you get to that point, you can't do anything, is it?
We do have our auditor here. If you want to, can you answer those questions? Is what we put aside and how we put it aside?
I can say that the fund balances, there's two funds that would fund this project, to my understanding. There's a senior fund, which has its own tax levy, and that fund, at the end of fiscal year 14, which was fiscal year 15 will be the next one that ends, that senior fund had $2 million in it. And then the town fund, which has been accumulating money over the years, had $2.3 million in it. Now, that's for general town purposes, and then the senior fund is for senior purposes. So not all of that money, at least to my knowledge, will be used for the building. The set aside that was mentioned earlier was there was $1 million put on reserve in the town fund for future building and equipping. It wasn't there wasn't a specific purpose for it. It was just, you know, for the one day that comes now to build the building. So those are accumulated fund balances that have added up over the years.
Okay, so we got $4 million, but $1 million of it might be used for this, but we're not sure. And you're asking us to know less about it than you do, or maybe than he does, to tell you, okay, we agree with you, and we don't even know what the heck your question is.
We don't know what the long-range maintenance costs are going to be. All right?
I think you're going to correct before the
How will it
horse.
be sustained over time? Where are those costs going to come?
The building that we're in right now is costing us $80,000 a year to stay here. If we have nothing.
Provide us with the information, okay, before going to a vote on a plan on what the problem is and what the options are for dealing with that problem. It seems like the immediate problem is office space in order to operate township affairs. Okay, I can see that as a legitimate concern. The question is, how should that be addressed?
Well, I'd like to address it by building a building. That's what we've been saying for.
But that's only one option. That, you know, it has its own costs associated with it, which we don't know.
We stay in this building.
There's an option to rent already existing facilities. There might be renovation costs associated with those, but all of those factors need to be taken into consideration so that we come into this having a clear idea of what the options are and what the costs and benefits associated with and liabilities are with each option.
The township board, over the last 2 years that this process has been going on, we did look at rental property, where we can go, the cost of and the maintenance of this third floor, the size of the office space that's going to be needed in the future. We did look at rental property. Did we look very hard? We didn't get anything as far as cost-wise, but location-wise.
We did have some costs, like renting some spaces, like kinetic system.
Oh, that's right.
That building.
Kinetic systems and all that. The problem was we were looking for somewhere that would serve all of Lockport Township residents, somewhere in the center of our township. And you know, kinetic systems just didn't work, you know, because of the location. Where was the best place right now was in the center. Is basically right between Prairie Bluff Golf Course and the fire station. So that's how we kind of how we're going after, you know, that location. So we did look at some of those issues that you're addressing, and we did look at the cost of what it is to maintain this third floor also. Okay, we'll go with two more. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Tracy Kozlowski, and I live over off of Renwick and Weber, and I'm just concerned about the influx of traffic. How are you guys going to accommodate? I mean, it's a very scary road to be on, you know, especially in the winter, and the bridge also. I mean, you know, we travel back and forth over the bridge, and it's not going to be a lot of fun to get, you know, back and forth when, I mean, it's going to be probably 3 times as bad. So I just want to know what you're going to, or what you propose to do with the traffic.
You know, the traffic on Renwick Road, I know, you know, they may put a light at that intersection, We might have to do that. As
What about
far,
widening the,
that is already set up for a turn lane. We have a turn lane and everything set there.
Okay, the part that I'm concerned about though is like the wind before you get to, that's the
wind where?
The wind, like where there's like a big curve, that's the, you know, where the deer are.
I can't get to State Road, I can't dictate.
Okay, all right. It goes up to 4 lanes as you get closer to Weber, but, you know, the part that we're constantly, you know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you're sitting there right in front of the fire station, trying to get, you know, inch over all, you know, out 53 to get onto the bridge. I mean, it's gonna take us an hour
I
now.
do have to tell you that, I'm making approximate numbers. In Lockport Township, we have approximately 60,000 residents. 20,000 on this side of the bridge, 40,000 on that side of the bridge. We have our biggest population on the west side of the bridge. They have to come on this side across the bridge, so it's dangerous for them. So that's why we're gonna go up to the center of the township. It only makes sense to be where the people are. All of our senior
real estate right there. Why not look at a Ford instead of a Cadillac? Take the kinetic systems area.
I think what he's addressing is the cost of property. If you could talk a little bit about.
You're in a prime rate over there.
Well, I understand it, but we are.
I don't think you're aware of.
We're talking about Park District property that's already off the tax rates, because it's not taxable, because it's a public entity. I don't want to go to some private property and take more money off cities, what they're hoping to sell for commercial property.
Do you have a letter from the Park District for use of that land for that purpose?
They're right now working, they passed a resolution at their meeting last Thursday. They're supposed to be getting it to me. Their lawyer, it has it. I had our lawyer contact their lawyer to get the language finally figured out. They passed the resolution with one little change. And we just wanted to straighten out that language so we could pass it at our meeting on Monday, if we have your blessing.
What was that resolution?
Pardon?
What was that resolution?
The resolution was that they would support us in putting our building on their property.
Would there be cost sharing involved for the facilities that we put up?
A lot of that depends on what we get all done, as far as we're also asking for grants. What I'd like to do, what I'd like to see happen, is we get enough grants and money together to be able to build our community center. And then the Park District has shown an interest putting a gym onto that building so they can do things for the Park District in that part of the building. Now, if they do that, we would lease the land, we would lease the building to them for $1 a year, whatever some arbitrary number, and they would lease us the land for the same arbitrary number. So it'd be a wash.
Well, what about the maintenance?
Well, we have maintenance in this building. Like I said, it's costing us $80,000 a year in maintenance in this building.
Understood, but you're talking a more elaborate facility than what you have here.
I think, well, be honest with you.
Why would there not be a cost-sharing basis? And if you're planning to put in a gymnasium, that's a public.
Well, it probably would be a cost. If they came in and we got the gym put in, there would be a lot of intergovernmental agreements between the Park District and the township.
I guess what I'm having problems with is, you talk about these different features and aspects and so on, and it's great to have ideas for development and so on. I'm not trying to dispel you from that, but you need to go a step further in terms of a concrete plan and lay out the elements and the costs associated with the options.
You're exactly right, and I will do that if I have your permission tonight. There's no sense in doing it.
But all the costs associated, I can't write a book like a check.
Well, then, if we say no, then the whole thing's off and we're staying here.
Well, no, you say it's all or nothing. Why not develop an incremental plan? Why do we have to vote on the cost element at this point? All right.
If the electors say no tonight, then we can't move forward, right?
You can't.
We can't move forward.
We won't be able to move forward with the building.
You can't do any more planning if you don't have a vote on, we accept all costs associated with whatever you dream up.
If we say we can't do this building, then why would we spend money at it? If you say no, well, we can't build a building.
This goes back to the proposition that, do we have to have a building? All right. Can't we lease a building? Can't we Can we rent a building, all right? There are plenty of structures that are vacant now.
That would be part of the cost of the building. I'm not saying, you know, this is a very, very good plan that we're talking to the Park District with and with Lewis University. If it doesn't go through, we are still going to look for other properties, maybe rental buildings. I'm just saying, give us a chance to look and work with this project. I don't want to cut it down enough.
No, you're asking for a blank check, that's what you're really asking for.
No, I'm asking you
Yes, you
to
are.
allow us to spend the money that we already have.
Why not look at the feasibility of it and develop a concrete
It's gonna cost
plan
you
to put before the voters so that we have some sense of.
Before you spend $1 million, that's a good idea.
Okay, all right. Two more questions. I got Norm in the back, please.
Norm Liker. We'll all vote no and forget it. Rest Hill, Illinois. I think we're losing sight of everything that's going on here. There is no architect gonna look and draw up plans for nothing. I think what you're asking for is some spending money and the approval to spend money so you know how much everything's gonna cost. If I'm reading it right, that's what this meeting's all about.
Yeah, we can stop this project if it gets out of hand.
Look,
At any point.
look, I was on the board for 20 years. That money originally was put aside for housing.
Yes.
But, relax, over the years though, we had, when I was on the board, we looked at different facilities. The tax assessor needs room. This building leaks. It's a high maintenance thing. When we would go down to Peoria or Springfield for our conventions, we would look into this is where you go to learn. You go down there to learn and you talk to other townships. And over the years, we found out townships were going to this type of a building. You house your township offices, you create a facility for your seniors to come in, and they have their senior parties. It's a place to get together. Right now, you don't have anything. You have very limited. When you go and you build a new facility, your expense ain't gonna be that much. But you got to establish some kind of approval, a dollar amount, so he can go out, or the board can go out, form a committee, and you got to pay for an architect. Who in here is going to work for nothing? Nobody. An architect firm is going to charge you. And if you don't have any money to go a step further, then you know what? You might as well drop this project because you can't go.
I will tell you also.
To get engineering costs on a road, you gotta pay an engineering cost. When you're getting a grant, there's still an engineering cost. So when you're gonna start something like this here, you gotta start with some kind of money so you know what it's gonna cost you and how far you can go. If you can't take that step, you can't go nowhere.
But
That
this
assumes
doesn't tell
we
you how
already
much
accept
money.
the concept that a building will be built.
I don't think but like I said, I might have misunderstood. I think what they're looking for is approval to spend some money with an architect and find out where they're gonna go. They don't have enough money.
That's not what this says.
There is not enough money. Yeah.
Order. We got one more. Ray.
Hi, my name is Ray Simplinsky.
Louder.
Speak up.
My name is Ray Simplinsky.
Weren't you the tax collector here at one time?
I was a collector here at one time, yes. And I'm currently the chief building official and director of the building division in Will County. And the 846 square miles of the county is mine for the building division. I do hear a lot of people here that are wondering about the dollars spent, because the question isn't just enough to get the architect. It seems like it's limitless. And this is what I'm hearing from everyone. But would it be okay, and is it possible to do a phasing such that tonight's approval would be for $20,000 to go into the RFQs to get an architect, to develop a concept, to go to the county, because Renwick Road is a county road. It was developed for 3 entities at that intersection. The fire district, McInerney's with their now defunct Steamboat Hot Dogs and such, and the Park District. Now, the car count was based on that type of intensity, that type of influx. If there's a light there, it doesn't come to us from free. The county makes you pay about $100,000 a year for the maintenance of that alone. So that could be a part that plays into this. What our supervisor is asking is the ability to go forward with something to provide you with a concept plan. Now, if it's more comfortable, then we should probably be looking at the dollars to allow the concept, the RFQs to go out to find the architect, the engineer, and to find those people to allow the project to go forward so that he can present something with a picture and a dimension and a cost for everybody to look at so that you will all know exactly how much we're going to spend. So that, I don't know if this is a possibility, but I think given the sentiments tonight, it would be a pretty close vote to allow or not, but I'd rather not see this die. I'd rather see the concepts be brought out in a very succinct manner so that we have the engineering roughed out. When you go to RFQs or RFPs, you can ask these people to develop a concept for you. I know myself within the county, the various people we work with, the number of architects, the commercial buildings, that I have a general feel for the costs. And I have a general feel for the expenses in engineering. So what the supervisor, I think, in essence, is trying to combine these, but I hear a lot of discomfort with what he's trying to go with. Would it be something that you could go incrementally and say, allow me X number of dollars to get the concepts, to bring to you, to tell you hard facts about what it's going to cost and what we're going to do. And in that same time, he can go to Lewis College and say, we have a commitment. He'll have the time to actually have the Lockport Park District weigh in and say, this is yours.
Ray, are you eligible to vote on this resolution?
I am a Lockport Township resident and voter.
I keep hearing you say, we're, you know.
We are a township.
Well, but it sounds like you're with them, you know.
Who is them?
With this resolution, this ordinance that was passed that nobody knows about.
I'm not saying, I'm saying we're as a township. I have no distinct.
Oh, yeah, well, all right.
Okay.
I have a suggestion.
That's what I was saying.
People who want to speak.
What is the budget? You said if the budget wasn't, if you couldn't meet the budget, it wouldn't go anywhere. What is your budget for this
Ma'am,
building?
please stand up and state your name and address, please.
What is the budget for this building?
I just
No, you
explained
do not have to give it.
that we have $1 million in our senior fund, and we have $1 million in our town fund. That's our budget right now. We are in very solvent condition. We could borrow money. And I was told by our accountant that we'd be able to pay that back.
Do you have an idea of what this complex would cost?
Well, I'm thinking probably about $4 to $8 million, depending on if the gym goes in there and if the clinic goes in there.
Yes, so we're
But
giving
if we did the
permission, but
clinic,
we
it
don't
would
know
be
what
at
it's
least,
gonna cost.
that would be at least we'd be making it. Yeah.
I have a suggestion. My suggestion is, we have 11 special meetings that we have to have by state law in April. Bring us something different than this. Why would that have to be done right now when we, by state law, we have to have a meeting in April? And if you need a committee, people say, oh, well, let's do that, we can get together. That's the way they did over in Romeoville when they decided to do their strategic plan many years ago when I moved out here. So, yes, if there's some people that would be interested in this here, when you take and you talk about the seniors, you named off all these senior gated communities. They're not going to use that because they have their own. So you can name those 4 off and all those voters, but that's not who will use it. And how are these people in Lockport going to get over here to this? That are coming from there, that are here? How are they going to get over there?
Again, the majority of our residents live on the other side of the river.
But the majority of those
the majority of, you know, like Carolina, Carolina
And they
Lake,
all have their own facilities.
There's a senior bus stop, so.
This resolution is inappropriately worded.
Okay,
The suggestion that we
we're gonna go
wait.
with one more final, okay? Ma'am, stand up in the back and the left, yes.
Okay, my question
State
is,
your name, please.
Mary Burnett, I live on High Road. Is the vote's gonna be based on just the people in this room?
Correct.
Because my husband would have come tonight, but he had the flu. My neighbors told me that they got phone calls, but they couldn't really understand what it was about. And they didn't feel well, so they didn't come. So I personally feel like it's unjust that people that were unable to come, their vote will not be counted. That's just my opinion. So.
Because this is a special town meeting, a legal notice was sent out. We have to vote on this issue as written.
Or you can table it, or you can.
I went to the township
suspend the
website,
meeting.
this meeting was not posted there. I went to the township's website, and I couldn't find this meeting posted on the calendar.
Here, here.
It was not on the calendar, but it was on my clerk's webpage.
Why not on the calendar? The township has available.
Because as the township clerk, I do not do the calendar. I just am in charge of my website.
It needs to be on the calendar, I don't care.
It's her job to do the hosting.
This whole thing should be tabled. It really is premature.
Okay.
It's not to say that you don't have value in some of the ideas you're proposing, but I don't think it's gelled sufficiently yet. We need a lot more consideration of this and a reformulation of the language before we move ahead with an open, a blank check to you.
Okay. The next step here is I need a motion for approval of a ballot vote for this resolution. All it is instead of a raise of hands, it will be a motion just to have it on a ballot, in the ballot form. So can I have that motion, please?
How can you do that when it's not on your agenda or anything, John?
It is on the agenda. It says approval of ballot vote for resolution.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Tonight.
Motion?
I would make a motion that we
Okay.
for
Motion
the
by Mary
approval of the vote
Williamson.
for this resolution.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
Move my second.
Second.
Mason, second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, let's go with a raise of hands. Third, how about this? Everybody in favor of taking this to a ballot vote, please stand up. Tonight.
This isn't a vote, this is just a ballot.
Let's
have a ballot.
Yes. This is just that for you guys to vote.
Why can't we have a motion to table this resolution?
We can close it out.
I make a motion to table.
Wait, there's a motion on the floor, please.
How can you have a vote before you consider the...
Sir, there's a motion on the table, on the floor. 34 to approve the ballot.
I make a motion to table the vote, the resolution as it stands.
I second it.
Okay, there's a motion.
There's a motion on the floor.
We just voted on it.
Explain the motion.
Okay, here.
We need the other part of the vote for whether it's by ballot or not. So those who oppose it, we still have no candidates going.
Those who oppose the approval of the ballot vote, please stand up. Those who oppose. Okay. The motion has been approved. Listen up. The motion has been approved for a valid vote to the resolution.
I make a motion to table the motion.
I second it.
We just voted to vote. How can you table?
No, we voted to have it.
Yes.
Wait, you're making a motion to
Table this resolution.
That's not up yet. This motion is only for a ballot vote for the resolution, not a voice vote. The next motion, if you read your agenda, is the approval of the resolution. Okay?
You should be tabled before you vote on it.
If you want to, but I want you to understand what the motion is for. It's not the resolution, it's for the ballot vote. Instead of going to a voice vote, or a hand raised vote, we're going to do a ballot vote. That's what this motion is for.
And that motion has passed.
Okay?
That motion has passed. That piece of paper you have in your hand, that is the motion that passed.
Point of clarification. Are we going to be using this to conduct the ballot for the resolution that has been placed before us?
Correct.
That's what that represents. Correct. So if we vote for doing a ballot, we're going to, in effect, be voting to accept or reject this resolution, which negates the possibility of tabling this resolution, given all the dissent that exists here today.
Okay. There is a motion on the floor. Let me think real quick. There is a motion on the floor to table tonight's vote. Is that how you want to word it, Paul?
Yes.
To table the resolution. Till when? Annual town meeting in April?
In
Yes.
April, that we have to have by state law. Where we can do the same
There is a motion to table this resolution. All in favor, raise your hand. Is there a second? I'm sorry, is there a second?
Yes, I second it.
That's why I got 32.
That was in favor? All in favor of tabling tonight's resolution. All opposed, raise your hand.
Look at me, get this.
28.
28. Okay. I'm just going to ask the lawyer, everything done correctly here in these last two these motions? Okay. Okay.
It's tabled to whatever we should have a specific date.
It's the first.
It's the second Tuesday in April 2015. I don't have a calendar here. Does someone have a calendar? Or maybe there's 14.
14. April 14th.
The annual town meeting is April 14th, 2015, 6:30 p.m. in this boardroom.
So
We'll move the agenda to set for
The agenda gets set 10 days approval by the town board.
check to make sure this.
Okay. Any other business pertaining to the proposed new building? Any other business? Any other questions?
I do have one. Or that I don't, it doesn't have to pertain to, but it pertains to the meeting in April. If you have something.
This meeting can be only discussed.
Okay.
The new building, sorry.
Move we adjourn.
I gotta read this 3 times, so hang with me here, okay? Any other business pertaining to the proposed new building?
A suggestion,
Go ahead, Paul.
to please bring back with much more clarity what you're asking for approval of. I think they got that gist, but just, you know, we're not against doing what you want to do. We just don't know what you want to do, because I don't think you know what you want to do, and so we'd like you to come back with some
This
clarity.
is very unique how town meeting works and how you electors can present your case, and that's what township government's all about. You know, it is us as board members listening to you and you listening to us, and granted, if this project comes in 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, you've got 4 trustees up here, they're gonna stop it. We're here to oversee the money of this township and your taxes. So it's not just one person, it's a group of us that we're elected to do a job. And right now, as you can tell, over the last couple of years, we've been working slowly to get to this point. And obviously, most of us are here tonight, and we had open ears. So hopefully we'll come back to you with more information in April, more solid information, and hopefully we all can work together and do something that's good for our community. So one more time, any other business pertaining to proposed new building? Ma'am? Yes.
My name is Sue Kirsch-Beveridge. I've lived here almost 40 years, and I hear planning taking place and people having ideas. I don't have a clear understanding. Do you have a demographic study? What percentage, what cultural differences do you have? Where are they located? You're talking about age groups, this is what we need. But what else do you need? Do you need to prioritize and have a study done first that characterizes the age, the numbers, and the cultural background of the people involved? Because it's very different. If you drive in different areas of Lockport Township, it is like very culturally diverse areas. You need to be aware of that.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, take one more time. Other business pertaining to proposed new building. Hearing none, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin.